Hey there, what's up? I recently had a chat with an head of Agile of an organization who's currently transforming towards Agile. And he has hundreds of developers, dozens of coaches and teams assigned to him, and he had one particular question that he asked me. And that is, because he had so many developers who have been with the organization for decades already, were, rather reluctant to change. They don't know what Agile is and don't know the beauty of it. So how exactly do I convince them to go towards continuous integration? And I told him I have 4 reasons that I tell every team why continuous integration is so powerful, so beneficial basically. And I gave him my very powerful insight or tip how I convinced every but the most stubborn teams to actually do such a change. And if you want to know them too, stay. But first of all, I have to apologize. My voice is a little bit off. I'm just fighting a cold right now. A little bit under the weather still. But that shouldn't really harm us for today's video. So what are the 4 reasons or the 4 basically major benefits that I tell teams why continuous integration is so much better than any plan that you can come up with, basically any plan in general? First one is simple. You improve your quality. The sooner you actually test whatever you have developed, whatever you have produced with all the other systems, all the other sub-features or features that you have in your product, works for services too, by the way, the better it is, because you get the insight about whether this works collaboratively with all the other features or systems or if it doesn't. And if you identify that something is not really working out that well, it is way cheaper, and this is reason number 2, to do it now, to do the change right now. Because whatever you have worked on right now, you still have it in your mind, it's kind of fresh. So if you need to do some adjustments on that, there is no working into that subject again. You can actually do it way quicker right now, and that leads to reduced cost. And additionally, when you put all this additional work to the side, or you kind of want to track that for later on, you need to track that. There is an additional overhead. Someone needs to basically write it down, put it back in the backlog or into the plan, and then rework that later on. This needs to be tracked, it needs to be evaluated again, it needs to be prioritized again. This is a huge overhead that you can actually save when you fix issues that you have right away instead of waiting for that to be fixed later on or integrated into any plan. And last, on the cost side, it is focus. Right? When you only finish or move on from a piece of work after you are sure that this is really done, that this can be released, then you don't have to multitask so much. And I know there's still the stereotype or the assumption that multitasking is something beneficial. People who can multitask are really good, but that's not a positive trait. It always costs you to do so. The third reason why continuous integration is superior towards any kind of planning, long-term planning, is self-improvement. Basically inviting in feedback and inspection. Keep in mind, when you work on something and this piece is done, but it needs to be really done, if there's still a little bit of things left, and you always have the excuse, hey, I'm not entirely finished with that, I will finish this up later, and you kind of annihilate or prevent feedback and inspection at that point. But if you really finish this finish this piece of work, and you invite inspection in and feedback for that matter, then you can improve already right now. That means the next piece of work that you start already can benefit from that improvement. Whereas if you work on something for a month or 2, maybe a quarter, or maybe 4 years on an entire project, and you only invite in feedback after that time, then everything that you learn can only be applied for the next project, rather than right away in the current project that you're working on. And secondly, for self-improvement is motivation. When you allow feedback in, think about it, there is quite a chance that people will compliment you on what you have done. You're a great person, right? You do great work. So when people see what you have done, they can actually tell you, hey, this was really great. And that will motivate you for your next item of work. So the next part that you start will be with this, internal mindset of having an awesome time and having a great motivational environment. And it will benefit from that. And this can lead to even more positive feedback. And this is a nice circle that you can actually, the virtuous circle. It is a nice virtuous circle that can lead to really great things and awesome performance. And the fourth reason is really the most important of them all. It is customer satisfaction. Right? If you work on something, the market can change. We are living in a rapidly changing environment, world, global market, and if you incorporate something that is currently really interested by the market, this will improve the satisfaction of the customer. And that's kind of your goal, right? You want to have a successful environment, a successful organization, a successful product or service, so the customer should like that, right? Otherwise, there will be a competitor out there who actually does it in a better fashion and will outpace you. And that's nothing that you want. And secondly on that, you may have heard about Humphrey's Law. That says people only know what they want after they have seen what they don't want. And this is the beauty of incremental development. When you just do a little bit of a piece of work, like whether it's a vertical slice or a minimum viable product, which is already way too big, both of them. I mean, you should think in really small chunks of work and collaborate with the customer so that the customer can tell you right away, oh, this is not what I had in mind, what I envisioned. Please do it in a slightly different way. Instead of doing it at the very end or after a huge amount of time, which might have been wasted. So we come back to cost efficiency on that point. The earlier you can show your customer the real piece of work, the real increment, the sooner you can actually get some feedback in and improve his satisfaction. Let me recap. Continuous integration leads to improved quality, reduced cost, higher chance for self-improvement, and improved customer satisfaction. And that's basically the beauty of it. As you might guess, not every team is actually convinced in doing it after all those reasons have been mentioned, because either they don't believe in the reasons or they don't think it is that way, whatever it is. There's one powerful kind of exercise or tip that I do when I work with such teams. And that is, but wait, first a little disclaimer. If you work with a highly polarized team who's so convinced of their opinion and really stubborn that everything else is wrong, don't do it. Just accept that this team is not willing to do that, because if you force them into any action, there's a caveat on that though. You only have one arrow in your quiver on this. You only have one shot. And if you miss this one, you can never ask them again to trust you and try it. So be really, really careful when you do, and coach them. Guide them, support them so that they actually have a best possible chance to succeed with this approach. The beauty of that is, if they do succeed, if they do see that this is a viable option, this is an improved environment for them, then you already started to lead them on their path of continuous integration as well as continuous improvement. And the second one is the more important one, because everything that you can improve is something that you should try to improve. Not at once, of course, one after the other, but once they have tried something and they see, hey, this worked out, then they will be more likely to actually try the next improvement. And this leads to continuous improvement, which leads to, all sorts of awesome. If you like that video, please hit the like button. It really helps me out here, and it shows me that this is something that you're interested in. I'm releasing new videos every Monday, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that and crush the bell so that you will be informed as soon as the video is out there. And other than that, have an awesome time.
She does. Well, isn't that nice? Well, we'd like to go sometime too, wouldn't we?